Official Marco Rubio is in. The Republican senator from Florida today confirming he's making a run for the White House. And it's set to take the stage just moments from now, within the hour, from Miami shortly. His announcement comes just a day after Hillary Clinton kicked off her second presidential campaign with a web video targeting what she calls everyday Americans. Here to break it all down, Fred Barnes, executive editor for the Weekly Standard, and Liz Harrington from the Washington Free Beacon. Welcome to you both. Great to have you here. We have just been handed a copy of his statement, what he's going to say, just moments away. And I wanted to read you part of it. He says, "My parents achieved what came to be known as the American dream, but now too many Americans are starting to doubt whether achieving that dream is still possible. Hard-working families living paycheck to paycheck, one unexpected expense away from disaster." Fred, to you, a populist tone. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, one of the things that Marco Rubio has done is take a great interest in the domestic economy. He has a reform tax plan. He is a conservative reformer. It makes a lot of sense. But he touched on one other thing that, for instance, Hillary Clinton does not have. And that's this great life story about his parents who were poor immigrants from Cuba, and his dad worked as a bartender in Las Vegas, and I think his mother cleaned hotel rooms and so on. And look where Marco Rubio is now. It's a great narrative. Hillary doesn't have one like that.
Well, that was my exact point. It seems to be a great contrast with Hillary. This weekend in the Washington Post, there was a picture of the candidate's house in Florida, and out front's a Ford F-150. I mean, he is saying, I am mainstream America. I am middle class America. He has the bona fides to prove it. Liz, to you, what do you make of his positioning, and is this going to resonate with the American voter?
Well, yeah, I think he is selling himself as the picture of the American dream. He's giving his speech in front of the Miami Freedom Tower, where Cuban refugees came to the United States in the 1960s. And he's saying, this is what I embody, and I think it's slipping away, and I can come in and change that. And the contrast to Hillary Clinton's announcement yesterday is so clear. While Marco Rubio is really selling himself, Hillary's really distancing herself from her own campaign. Her campaign video, she only appears in it for 9 seconds, and she has these so-called everyday Americans that are the centerpiece of it.
Let's move to that right now and hear a little sound from that video. Here's Hillary Clinton.
For president, Americans have fought their way back from tough economic times, but the deck is still stacked in favor of those at the top. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
Fred, she wants to be that champion, and yet she makes, what, $200,000 per speech. She and her husband have amassed $17 million since they left the White House, and if you recall, she said, we were dead broke when we left the White House. It is doubtful to me if the majority of Americans would have considered themselves dead broke when they had the money the Clintons did when they left. Fred, is Hillary just too distant, living a life that is just too out of reach of mainstream Americans for them to relate to her?
Well, there really is a problem, Gerri, that I think you've touched on here, and whether she's really genuine when she talks about being the champion of the middle class and so on, and she's just identifying with all those people she had in her video of people that were working and single mothers and so on. It's a hard sell to say that she fits in with them, and to be the champion of the middle class. I mean, she's someone who has had a difficulty trying to discover what she really believes in. It was just a few weeks ago where one of her campaign people said, well, the problem is before we start the campaign, we have to figure out what the rationale for her campaign is. I still don't think she's found it yet.
Ambition is not enough, in my view.
No.
You have to have more than that. Liz, to you, she wants to raise some $2.5 billion. I was kind of shocked at that. Am I just being naive? Is that what it takes, or is this a big number?
It is a big number, but nowadays you do need to raise $1 billion to win the White House, it seems. And I think it's interesting with Hillary. She sent an email out today that's saying it's your time, when really that's the complete opposite of what a lot of people think about Hillary Clinton. Is the reason she's winning is she thinks it's my time, and I was passed over in 2008, and now I can finally be president. So the contrast with her and with Rubio is very clear.
Yeah, it's like getting in line for lunch. You take your turn, and it's my turn to be president. Fred, quickly before we go, Hillary's talked a lot about women We have sound, but we really don't have time to play it. I want you to talk to the issue of whether that's going to resonate with Americans. I know a lot of women my age who are pleased as punch to see a woman compete for the White House, the chair in the White House. But is that enough just to say, let's make it the first woman in the White House?
Well, no, I don't think it's enough, but it will depend on what the lay of the land is next year and who her Republican opponent is, and particularly if Republicans make the mistake of being mean to her and allowing her to be a sympathetic figure, this grandmother who Republicans are beating up on. That won't help. But just being a woman, look, it may give her a point or two, but she may lose a point or two in other areas, particularly among African American voters. She's not a Barack Obama there, that's for sure.
Well, give me a quick last word here on this topic.
Well, I think, like we said, Hillary has a hard time. She's going to have to distance herself from this public persona now that she's stiff, out of touch, and really that's what she's trying to do. She's kind of running away from that persona and trying to change that.
You guys, great job. Fred and Liz, thank you so much.